Hi, this is Emily with Emily Talks, and thank you for joining me again today. I'm gonna have a really tough video to do. I have already tried starting this video about 4 times now, and just had to scrap it and try again. And I'm hoping that this is the final go. So today, my video is gonna be on the line between spirituality and mysticism. And I feel that, well, right now, most of my viewer base, all 3 of you, thank you for coming back, are objectivists. And this is going to be on a subject from my own understanding, myself being objective-ish. I'm not actually what I would call an objectivist, just simply because I'm trying to do what's right according to my own mind, and a lot of that aligns with objectivism, and some of it really doesn't. And I know that exploring my life is more important to me than exploring and accepting objectivism, because some of it to me would be secondhand, like, just parroting an idea without fully understanding it. And I must explore my own experiences and come to conclusions on them that are mine. So this is one of those videos, and I know that my intentions are to reach a lot of people who are not objectivists, who are people who are like myself before objectivism. And I don't necessarily want to share objectivism, right? I want to share what has helped me in my healing journey, and objectivism happens to be part of my healing journey in a huge way. But I want to meet you where you are. And I want to stay with you, or rather, still reach you if mysticism is important to you, or, just if my experiences and views are very different from you, I still know that healing is healing. The human experience is the human experience. That there are truths that are bigger than myself or you that we must rely on, and that will make a change. It's made a change in my life, and I want to share it with you. And however you ingest that and use that to move along in your life, that's important. It's important. And I'm going to do my best to get as much of it right as I can. And if that ruffles a few feathers along the way, I don't know, maybe I'll learn something. Maybe I'll learn something. So if you have any feedback for me, I'll be looking out for those comments. I actually look forward to that at this point. Probably because I haven't gotten hated on enough. So spirituality versus mysticism. What a topic. So I was raised Christian, and in the last, my mom ended up marrying somebody who was Orthodox Christian when I was 12. And something that my younger brother said once upon a time, which I just thought it was the best explanation, was that Orthodoxy is like if Christianity became an Olympic sport. The way that you would play that Olympic sport is through Orthodox Christianity. And it makes a lot of sense, because there's a ton of rules, and it's, an exercise every day, every moment. There's a prayer to be said. There's a ritual to be followed. And, the war against the mind is very, very serious in objectivism, in Orthodox Christianity, because the mind is fallen. And, learning to rid myself of myself was an important part of the way that I was raised, within Orthodox Christianity, within the teachings that I read. Humility, the letting go of self to allow God to fill me, was super important. And just the way that it was presented to me, the way that I imbibed that, coupled with, just all of the other factors of my life, it turned out to be something that was incredibly corrosive, and it hurt me deeply. And I decided to let go of Christianity, and as I learned more about objectivism, I began to deeply reject Christian ideas and start to, like, the things that I had seen within Christianity were quite dark and they were quite destructive. So hearing this message of, mysticism is evil, I just absolutely connected with that. But why is, I'm going to define a few terms here because this is super important. Why is Christianity considered mysticism, and what is mysticism itself? So mysticism is going to be the belief in something that is otherworldly, right? It's going to be a belief in something that is not experienced through the five senses, or describes, the five senses without relying on information that's directly available to us. Which, I mean, that is a big load of honky, because description requires, anything that is a descriptive word comes from the senses, because we've sensed it and then it becomes a describer. So it's really hard to talk about mysticism without having it lean against something that's actually reality, but then we're taking it to this extra dimension that does not exist. So mysticism is any of those things, and Christianity, the Christian God, is outside of reality, right? He expresses himself within reality, but he is unknowable because he's bigger than knowledge. He is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, right? So in control of everything, knowing everything, and everywhere at all times. And I don't know if it's like the law of identity, but I read Aristotle's Physics, and in that, he talks about no two things can hold the same space at the same time. So God being omnipresent by definition is already not possible within the physical realm, right? So you have to have a sense of, you have to rely on mysticism, which goes against, the facts of reality. And I just put it like this because I want to give y'all space to have your own ideas. I believe that the facts of reality exist and they're immutable, and it is up to me to explore them. So, when I say facts of reality, it's to give your ideas space and to also give you the opportunity to hold ideas that you have and come here and find out more, see what fits for you, explore within your own world. And if you see something that you like, you come back. So my point is not to alienate the people that I want to reach. I want to reach you. And I do not want to alienate you by, just throwing out my beliefs and my understanding of the world and saying, that this is absolutely right. If you don't agree, well, that means that you're irrational and incapable and blah, blah, blah. That's such BS. I really don't like that. I really want to connect with the fact that you know that you have potential for growth and you want that. And you are going to keep connecting with that potential for growth. And that's why you're going to come back here, is because you see something that I have that you also want. And I'm going to share that with you because that's the kind of channel and the person that I am, and the channel that I want to create. So, I'm going to present my ideas, but I don't want to browbeat you with them. So, mysticism in Christianity and any other belief system, even, the chakras and all of this kind of stuff, it's all mysticism. It's all based on, belief in something that isn't experienced by the five senses, believing in something extra. However, I still believe that as humans, we have a spiritual experience. And this is something that I'm exploring myself. It's not something that I've read up on. It's just, what have I already had an experience with? And what kind of words am I going to put to that experience? And, you know, when I was younger, I would lay and listen to the trees rustling, you know, in the wind. Um, I would, you know, I grew up on an island, and I would listen to the waves coming up on the shore, or, you know, if there was a hurricane, I would lay by the window and just listen to that pounding of the rain. And just the experience to me would pull from within me to connect with what was around me. And that experience to me is ostensible, right? Ostensible to myself. You know, I feel like ostensible is, you know, you point to it and everybody else can point to it and you all have the same experience, but it's something that you point to and you just experience it. A is A. But when I think of these spiritual experiences, it was me deeply connecting with the world around me. And sometimes I would have that experience with other people, you know, where I just deeply connected with them, where I felt a pull from within me to say, this is good, this is right, this is beautiful, and to bask in that. I do not want to give up on that person because I say that I reject mysticism. I don't want to tie up that experience in mysticism and toss it away. I want more of that experience in my life. I'll tell you how I I'll tell you how I do all of this nowadays. And Robert Nasir, he's been calling that woo, and I love it. I guess he's getting that from a wider community of rational philosophers and, you know, rational philosophy, where that concept of woo comes from. It's not from Robert Nasir himself, but I've heard him use it, so I'm crediting you, Robert. And you know, I don't necessarily want to get tied up in woo, if that's what this is. But also, if somebody else is going to say, okay, Emily, that's really just mysticism, I'm not ready to give up on that experience. I think it's absolutely essential to human experience, and to let go of that would make me less vibrant, less in love, less driven than, you know, if I gave up on it and said, you know what, that's just mysticism, and I'm not going to be with that. So I'm not 100% sure yet what is that dividing line between spirituality and mysticism. I just know that right now, what I'm calling that experience is spirituality. It's, you know, the spiritual nature of being human, is that deep connection with beauty. It's the deep connection with what is good. And, you know, when I think of what is beautiful and what is good, the thing that truly defines that is that what is good is based off of what is good for me, what is good for my life. My life is the standard of value. So when I think of the value of something, whether it's good or bad, it all comes back down around to, you know, facts of reality. And the, you know, the greatest fact to myself is that without life, there's no more me. That's kind of essential. And, you know, there's this experience within me that is incredibly compelling, and I don't want to get rid of that. One of the ways that I express the spirituality, because I feel like it's kind of important to give give a face to what this means. I don't have a lot of really good means of definition right now, and that's difficult. But what I think of it as is, when you send somebody thoughts and prayers, the thing that I think would be mystical is that somehow what I have invoked takes some sort of, beyond what is experiential form, that it travels along or it appears in the life of this other person without their knowledge or understanding, and impacts their life in a real measurable way. And I think that that's absolute garbage. I really do. And but there is something that I do respect, and this is what I have taken on for myself, is I respect when in your heart and in your mind you want to change somebody's life. You want them to get better from illness. You want them to, feel less upset or sad. You want them to have a sense of community. If you're sending thoughts and prayers to another person, intention is important. And I respect that. I don't respect the idea that, that intention is going to make a change without action. I don't think that that's true. But, if you think and pray for me, think of and pray for me, and I know that, and I think of you bringing all of this intention of change for me in my life, and I accept that and say, wow, this person cares about me, and I'm going to dwell on that desire that they have for there to be an impact in my life, a positive impact in my life. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to think of that. That makes a change in my life because it has become important to me, and it becomes part of my ideas and my thoughts and my behavior, and it changes my life. That's something real. It's something powerful. So, I think that also, even if, let's say that you think of and pray for someone, right, or something, you're bringing it to your intention, to your forefront of your mind. If you think of and pray for someone and then you never move on with it again, and feel that that is all that it's there for, I think that that's a little empty. But if if I think of someone and I say, you're in my thoughts, I'm thinking of you, even now I'm starting to kind of incorporate a sense of prayer, is that I want change in your life. I want impact on this particular issue. And the more that I think of that, the more that it comes to my mind, a kind of change that I want to see, the more that I'm going to act according to that change. So let's say, I couldn't necessarily impact you directly, but I think of and I put intention toward that impact that I want. And I keep feeding into that and, thinking about what's important to me, the things that I want to change. I may not do it directly with you, but I may do it with another. Or, if I have a conversation with you because, I've been thinking about this thing that's been on my mind, it will come out in the way that I speak with you. I think intention is incredibly powerful. And I think that to give up or to surrender that, the spiritual experience, that's what I'm calling it, the spiritual experience of being human is not worthwhile, not worth acknowledging as its own thing. I think that I don't know, there needs to be something incredibly powerful that can be able to put this into, terms that means something specific, that means something impactful, because the experience is impactful. Bringing this back around to, when I would have experiences with an individual or with nature that truly left me feeling compelled to feel connection, compelled to look deeper and more often, to strengthen my perception toward any given thing. This experience is specific and it's important. The more that I would pay attention to and feel compelled by, beautiful things within nature, I would seek them out more often because I felt inspired. I would listen to the pounding of the rain and I would feel, this is something that changes this world. You think of erosion. There's something powerful here. Something that makes a change, makes a difference. And it has my attention. When I felt this way towards, people who were around me as a small girl, oh my goodness, my heart was just brimming with love. And I would occasionally meet other young people or just other people that my heart would just swell and I would feel this deep appreciation of beauty for something, maybe the potential of something. I don't want to, give out a moral blank check to anybody where without knowing their character, I've given them, approval. So there's that. I'm not really sure how to refine that particular part of the experience. And that's going to come. That's going to come with more thought, more reading, more research, more exploring. But, there's this really powerful experience that I have that I am exploring, and I'm calling it spirituality at this time. That, when my friends go through something tough, I say that I'm sending them joy, peace, love, acceptance, that I'm sending them this thing. And it's more than just thinking of what I wish for in their life. It's putting it into a capsule of ideas and thoughts, and then I share that with them through my words, And I make sure that they are aware of the intentions that I have for them, or I take those intentions and I place them again somewhere, that I can impact somebody's life or some moment in time with this positivity that I have in my heart and in my mind. And I make a real impact on the world. When I give those thoughts and intentions to my friends who are going through tough things, they approach that, situation or whatever it may be, that feeling, with the knowledge of their friends behind them, surrounding them. I know that I feel this way when I am starting to go through any issues, when my friends tell me that they're holding space for me. I can see it in my mind, where I think of a place where they are holding space for me, where they are opening up space within this world. They can't physically do that. Of course they can't. But I think of the beauty of being accepted and being loved and wanted. And I create an image of that in my mind and I step into that. It makes my life better. It's measurable. Because it impacts the way that I think. When I think of all of these neural networks that I want to make new connections with, and I have an experience, and I connect it with other things that I want to associate with that experience, so my brain lights up in a whole new way. It's a physical connection of patterns between my mind, and that's powerful. That is powerful. And I want a better life. And I see something here that's worth exploring, that's worth deepening. It's been on my mind a lot, and I am not sure that there's, a real solid message here today, for you. But there's definitely the start of something very, very important. And I hope this resonated in some way, that, maybe this will inspire some thought in yourself. Maybe it'll inspire you to say, hey, Emily, you don't know jack squat, and this is the truth. And maybe you'll impact me with something new that I didn't know before. It's a very, very important for me to be first-handed, to take my experiences seriously and understand them deeply, so that I can have a life filled with purpose, where I am pursuing what I want, and I am making a world after my own thoughts and my own experience, where I am crafting something that's beautiful and that celebrates who I am. So, good or bad, let's do this together. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey. And I hope I'm making that difference. Namaste, my friends.